Hola Madridistas. Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real, where we're gonna basically review the UCL group stage that we got and give our initial impressions on that. Along with that, we basically clubbed the Getafe preview as well for the game on Saturday. So Farouk, how are you doing, man? All things good in your life?
Yeah, man, what can we say, man? As long as we're alive, there is hope, so we just keep pushing it from week to week, day to day, one day
Mm.
at a time. But yeah, not to be philosophical, to answer your question, yeah, man, I'm good.
I mean, Farouk, like that, this is why we ask you these questions, because you always find a unique answer. You're a unique person. But yeah, let's go. So did you watch
Well,
the UCL draw live?
I watched part of it, because obviously there was, I was gonna join, and then, we had to delay for, half an hour and stuff like. So in that period, I watched a bit of it. So I
Hmm.
saw the last bits, and also I saw Missile of Closer won an award as well. So that's where I stopped, and then I joined you.
Okay, okay. And I just realized I still have the text from the game from a while ago on the live, so I'm just adjusting that. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
you wanna initially get into the UCL review or just preview Hetafe?
Yeah. I mean, it's. I think the draw has actually been, quite fair. I would honestly say. It's. I think it's not been harsh considering what could have been. Like we could have gotten worse draw, which was a draw that was circulating all over the internet. Was with us and Man City, Real Madrid, AC Milan, and I mean, sorry, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, AC Milan, and Newcastle. That was a draw that was circulating all around. But I think it's credit to let's be fair to ourselves and to the other group members as well. I think with Naples and Union Berlin
Hmm.
and uh, and Braga, I think it's a really really fair group, and I think if Real Madrid can't get out of this group, then there is no need to actually play the Champions League itself. So this
You really
yeah,
think
I think this.
there is a chance that we don't make it out?
I don't think that exists. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we don't make it out of this group, then we don't actually deserve to be in the Champions League because, with all due respect to everyone in the group, like it's Union Berlin and Braga. Obviously, people will tell me like the people who are German Bundesliga will tell me like Union Berlin is a very very tricky opponent to play. But I believe like we should be able to get past them, not with ease, but at least with grit. Let's use it that way. And also we have FC Braga there, so Braga also, from Portugal, like they're perennial, European heavyweights, either be it in the Europa League or in the Champions League and something like that. But still, the only team I will actually want to talk about, might actually, bring some issues is Napoli. But then, Napoli also now with the new coach as well, so it's going to be quite interesting to see how they adapt, with Garcia, so because we know Spalletti left and Garcia came on, so we don't know if there's going to be a change in tactics. How is it going to go? How is it not going to go? Will the
Mhm.
star players from last year be able to maintain that form again? That's another question. And also facing Real Madrid also it's something that makes a lot of players shiver. So how do they adapt to that? Those are questions to be answered. But for sure, like I'm very, very, very confident. In the draw we got. I feel like it could be worse, and I feel like this is one of the best. I wouldn't say it's an easy group, but I would say it's a group that I feel confident of getting out of.
Mhm. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't expecting you to downplay Napoli so much, especially since your entourage plays there. You're always hyping up Osimhen. But you really think
Yeah, man.
like he doesn't have the ability to like keep on? How many goals did he get last time? It was around 26 goals, I guess, all competitions, or
I
was it
think he
just in the
got
league?
like 24 or 25 in the league. I'm not exactly sure of the number. I think, but he was close to 30 in all comps. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, Napoli is having a new coach right now, I understand. So they have to figure some things out. How do they do that? Do they continue in the pattern of what Spalletti had done, or do they move on? And let's not forget about this. Napoli also had to rely on the superhuman performances of a lot of players, and let's not forget also Kim left, which was a defensive stalwart for them. Kim left and joined Bayern Munich, so that's also an important loss there. And also, uh, I would like to even name check Kavara Shele as well. Like the Georgian player as well. So there is at least for on my side, I have a lot of doubts that can he be able to replicate those world-class performances that he had last year, and also Victor Osimhen is a player that, although I love him and support him a lot, on last year I think was the only year he remained fit, and even in that case, like when the current Champions League games came, he actually also was injured. So honestly, this is the thing about that. Like I just feel like, yeah, Napoli are they are a formidable proposition. Rather they were a formidable proposition, but will they be able to maintain that? This is the question that is being asked right now, especially as I mentioned with the changes all around, and so that's why I just feel like it's not a matter of playing them down, but it's just a matter of saying that I think, we should be able to find a way around them. At least it's 2 games. Even if we don't win in Naples, at least we should be able to, get the points, at the Bernabeu. So this is the thing. Like I just feel like eventually, it's two people have to get out of the group one way or another. We're gonna be first or second. So
Yeah. The last time that we faced Napoli, was it in the round of 16 or the group stage where we needed a hero goal from Casemiro to save us?
Casemiro, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I think I remember the whole Casemiro goal against Napoli. I think it was in the round of 16, not in the group stage.
Yeah.
I think that's the one I see, but I can't remember. I can't remember any other fixture other than that. I think that's the last one I remember.
Mhm. And that
Is
was
there
a
any? I don't
much
think.
weaker squad. I feel like we are facing a much more difficult Napoli this time.
Oh, obviously, definitely. I mean, they just won the Scudetto, man. So like, it's a really strong team. I'm not, saying anything about that. I just feel like we should be able to find a way through, through the group and through Naples as well. But it's gonna be an interesting one. Honestly, we just have to wait and see how it pans out. And honestly, like Napoli is one to keep an eye out for, as I mentioned, because there's a lot of things going around. And
Mhm.
also in the Italian league, I don't know if you guys follow, but with how Milan and Inter actually have really, really stocked up, and really gotten really, really good players. So it's gonna be interesting to see how Napoli are able to fare this time around.
Yeah, definitely, man. So let's just go through some comments before we head to the next group. So ZMap, he's here in the comments. Big up ZMap. He asks, "What's good, guys? I'm looking forward to the Napoli calf." Okay. So what is your okay? Let's like choose our favorite player matchups for this. Maybe. You go first. Are you like looking forward to Osimhen versus Rudiger?
Actually, I was actually thinking of, Kvaratskhelia against Carvajal. The thing is this: if Kvara maintains the form from last year, we might be looking at a roast. We might have, Carvajal, caging one of the best wingers in Europe as also. It's for me right now. I will lean towards a 60% Kvara roasting Carvajal and a 40% Carvajal caging this guy down, because I don't know how it's gonna be eventually. But honestly, like. Kavara against Carval is something that's really, really going to be interesting. But sorry for deviating from your matchup. I think Rudiger against Osimhen also might be something really, really interesting, because Osimhen he's those kind of strikers who are really, really those buzzing strikers that they're here, they just pop around everywhere, and it's difficult to keep a hold of them, especially when you consider that the man is just going to be 25, so like he's really young and energetic, and this is what he lives off of, like just running, up and down through the left, in the middle, and he's really good in the air. He has this ability to control and bring others into play, So it's he's as close to all-round striker as you can get right now in world football, in my opinion, at least. The only problem I've always had about him is just about his fitness, but
Mhm.
I really think it's gonna be quite interesting. But then, hey, I mean, I was here talking shit about Rudiger, and then he literally took Ellen Ireland out of the game. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that as well. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see Rudiger also become a headless chicken who just those people who run and run and run, but they don't do jack shit in the game. You
Yeah.
know. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Tony Rudiger become that as well. But on the other hand as well, I will also be interesting to see how like their midfield of holds up against our own midfield. Especially I will love to see how players like Piotr Zielinski can will hold it up against I think most likely Zielinski might come up against players like either Fede Valverde or Kamavinga, depending on what we are playing. So I think that's going to be quite interesting to see how that happens as well, and also how our wingers are able to also exploit them, if those are wingers or not wingers, because this is the thing. I don't know if the date of the fixtures has been announced yet, but I know that Vinicius actually is gonna miss 1 or 2 games, so that's also quite interesting. So I think the matchups might not be so, right now might not be the best, time to, talk about the matchups because we don't know who's going to be fit or like there for that game. And also, let's not forget, if Mendy comes back, that also, shows up the defense as also that gives us a good outlook as well there. So yeah, man, it promises to be an interesting time. Honestly, it really does promise to be an interesting time.
Yeah, definitely. This next comment, I want you to handle it. So Hassan says, that skinny Lukaku doesn't know what's gonna hit him. We got Joselu.
Oh, I think he's referring to Osimhen as skinny
Yeah,
Lukaku.
yeah.
Come on. Come on. Come on, Hassan. What are you talking about, man? Skinny Lukaku, that's unfair on my man. That's really, really unfair, man. That's really, anyways. We will take that, we will take that then, once he dunks one pass, Kepa in posts, Hassan, you remember the whole skinny Lukaku comment.
Well, so where is Lukaku right now? He went to Roma. Is that a thing?
Yep. Lukaku has been confirmed at AS Roma.
Nice. All right. Suned asks, how far is Naples from Milan? Farouk might be able to go.
I think it's a 4.5 hour train. I have never been before, but it's a 4.5 hour train, I think, from Naples to Milan. So, I mean, the point is about it's not about going or lack thereof. It's about finding a ticket.
Mm.
Because the point is like you can buy a pass, like which costs I think $30 for 4 days for the train, and you can travel anywhere for 4 consecutive days.
Oh wow. Okay.
So
And
like
the UCL prices, like, how is it going to be? It's going to be like upwards of 100, 200 euros.
no, it's not gonna be. Actually, it's game to game. For example, like there's a derby in 2 weeks, for example. So the Milan derby normally like a good seat at a game will cost you 50, $60. What even the worst seat at the Milan derby is costing $90. But the point is when you go to the website, it tells you unavailable.
Oh, yeah.
It's not even available for you to purchase. So the thing is that unless like you're one of those season ticket holders or you guys are those deep rooted families, it's really difficult to get a hold of tickets, and especially when Naples is gonna play Real Madrid, impossible.
Impossible. Yeah.
Impossible. This is just the thing, like unless if you know someone who's, I mean, if it was in Milan, we could always leverage someone who knows someone whose family has, the season ticket and all that, at least since every member can buy 4 tickets, you can leverage them to at least, buy one for you or something like that. Well,
Hmm.
it's Naples, it's totally, foreign territory. We don't know jack shit about that. Well, I mean, traveling is just 4.5 hours. It's not a big deal, but the point is, getting a hold of the ticket itself.
Yeah. Right. I2I4U is here in the chat. Big up you. So he asks, will Real Madrid be able to qualify without a goal scorer? You need to score goals to qualify in that group. So is he alluding to the fact that we're going to concede a lot and we're not going to make it up with the goals?
Uh, I think I totally understand and get where he's coming from, but I just feel like it's too early for that because I feel like, honestly, in all honesty, I genuinely believe that if Real Madrid, even without Vinicius, even without the striker, even without Thibaut, even without
Militao.
Militao, if we can come out of this group, then I'm sorry, but we don't even deserve to win the Champions League in the first place. I genuinely believe that this is a group that we should be able to navigate through, honestly, and we wouldn't, we will not be disqualified because other teams were better. No, we will be disqualified because we didn't play to our potential. We didn't play to what we could play to. So I do feel like while I understand him totally, and I agree with him. I just don't think like this group is. I mean, the group could have been worse, then I also would be scared about that, honestly, because if we had gotten the group of that, I genuinely would have been scared. But I do believe that uh this group is something that really we should be able to handle.
Hmm.
Later in the Champions League, yeah, obviously that lack of striker is going to be something that's going to happen. That's going to literally come back and haunt us. But I think for now, for the round of 16, I think we should be fine.
Exactly, man. Feel the same. Couldn't have put it in a better way. All right. With that, before we like head into the next group, I guess, Farooq, you want to talk about our voting going on, the fact that we're so far behind.
Yeah, okay, good people of Let's Be Real podcast family. those who are listening on the audio platform, those who are watching live, those who are gonna watch later when it's uploaded. Like we need you guys to comment big for us. Like we're about 200 votes behind in the football content creators podcast. I think the description is in the links below. We are actually competing for the best international podcast category and also the best club content creator category. It will actually, last week we were actually quite ahead, especially in the best international podcast category. But unfortunately, some people have just come and spammed everything, and shit has literally hit the fan. So we are calling upon you guys, tell the people, I know most of our guys, the likes of Hassan, Lolo, Ashik, and all those guys, I know they've done their part and they've voted, but we need them, we need you guys to tell those that, tell your friends to tell your friends to tell their enemies to tell their enemies that, we need to get these votes done, So we just need you guys to comment big for us. The descriptions are in the link below. Just click on the link, go to the comments, just type at Let's Be Real 1902 in the comment section, and that's just all. Please and please, just tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell an enemy to tell his family to tell his friend's enemy, and however the link keeps going, just spread the word. Just spread the word, people. Just do us the solid, people. Just spread the word honestly, so at least we can get some recognition, and more importantly, some publicity as well. Because that's the thing. Like these recognitions bring publicity as well, and the more people you get, and the more you'll be able to do our things continuously more and more. So yeah, people, just please and please, links and comment, do your thing, people. Do your thing. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, people. Please and please. Yeah, Jacob, let's go on, man.
Can't really go on, and I feel super motivated after that speech.
let's
But
just hope our listeners also share the same sentiment, bro.
yeah, yeah. All right. We we are in Group C. We basically previewed that. So let's go on to Group A, the Bayern group. There's Man United. Huh. You have no thoughts on
Yeah,
it,
I
or
mean the point is, like with Bayern, United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray, I actually feel like Bayern should have this, because for me, actually, I think Bayern are the second favorites after Man City for this tournament, honestly. So I think like Bayern should have this group easily. But my fear now becomes this: United, I feel, should have this. But the problem now becomes this: United have to go to Istanbul, and the point is, I don't know if you guys have actually noticed how Galatasaray has actually stocked up on some really nice players, and and what you might say whatever you like about Icardi or not, but one thing we know is that always wherever he's gone, he scored goals. In the middle of the park they have former Arsenal players, Torreira, and I mean the point is Galatasaray has a team that is awkward to play. And then you go to Istanbul, and Istanbul is a very, very shitty place to play. I mean, even we went there and lost, to DJ Drogba and Schneider, I think it was in 2013 or in 2012 or something like that, So this is the thing, like, so imagine if United goes there now and draws. Okay, they don't even lose, They go to Istanbul and they draw. And all of a sudden they have to go to Denmark, and play Copenhagen.
yeah,
So it's when the pressure starts to shift, this is the issue actually. So I am not too sure about what's gonna happen with United or like thereof. I just know that in this group Bayern is gonna go through, but
hmm
I'm not really really gonna place my bet on saying United is gonna also go through with them or like thereof. I feel like even if United go through, it's gonna be they're gonna sweat a lot to eventually go through as well.
yeah, man. Those away trips are gonna be hell. And so Icardi is there. Can you name any other Galatasaray player? I feel like they got a midfielder.
Actually, they have Torreira in the middle of the park.
Hmm.
Let's see, who else do they have? Who else do they have? Who else do they have? I can't remember. I do know they have Mata, but obviously Mata is more of a cheerleader than you know
Cheerleader.
than yeah.
So Juan Mata is still playing.
And
That's
yeah, Mata is their guards, all right. And I mean they had this Italian wonder boy Nico Zaniolo, but they loaned him to what's it called? To Bournemouth in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the person they loaned him to.
Mhm.
I'm not exactly sure, but I think yeah, he was loaned there. So after that, they have Dries Mertens, if I'm not mistaken. I think Mertens is still there. They had
Oh,
yeah, the Mertens is still there. Mertens is still there. And also they have this, I think that's even a more important name to name. They had this guy from Porto. If you could recall, like when Porto eliminated Juventus with Cristiano, there was this guy who scored a free kick from under the wall. I can't remember his name.
Hmm.
I can't remember his name actually. I think it's Oliveira, something like that.
Let me just look it up. But yeah, just to point out, United haven't been in a good run of form. Like everyone thought they would actually figure it out this term. They haven't actually had any good signings, but then they said Ten Hag ball is gonna really work out, and then they're probably gonna win this time around.
Yeah, and also like there's this Turkish winger that Galatasaray has. I don't know if they also start to rate him very well, but I actually liked him a lot by watching him at the Turkish national team.
Mhm.
Is Kerem Aktürkoğlu. He's a really really good player actually. So he's one to watch out for. Honestly, he's a really really good winger. So he's someone that can give the problem. Actually, but the point is that it's not about how strong Galatasaray is or lack thereof. I think it's more about how hot and cold United can blow. You know,
Yeah,
this is the thing, like you as you said, like the point is today we sit down and watch United defeat, City, and tomorrow we go them and we see they play the same City again and they look like schoolboys against men. So this is the thing, like obviously, like Ten Hag still needs a bit of time to get his things right, and also you can see how shitty the club is being on. Honestly, like I mean, you can say whatever you like about Ten Hag or what is not, but honestly, like he needs a midfielder for how many years we know that, and still it's only Casemiro that is there. There is
yeah.
literally nothing like even to buy a player like Sufyan Amrabat. Like it's like I don't know if you saw that. Like they offered them 1 million euros for 6 months, and additional 1 million euros after 6 months. I'm like, come on, man.
Isn't this like the second richest club in the world? What's
I
going on?
mean, come on. I mean, I mean, this is pure comedy, man. Honestly, like when you look at this thing, you feel like, what the fuck are these guys smoking? Uh, so
Yeah,
yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I feel like it's mostly not about these guys, but honestly, also let's not forget about Copenhagen as well. The Danish team as well. With the perennial, the perennial attacker, Andrea Cornelius as well. Anything can happen in Denmark as well. So this is the thing, especially if you have to go there in the winter months. Because as we know, like the Scandinavia is fucking crazy when it comes to winter months. You don't
yeah.
know how it's gonna be and all that. So home advantage can play a factor there as well. But you never can tell how this is going to be. So that's why I feel like for me, like I'm not saying United aren't going to go through, but I'm just if I was a betting man, I wasn't going to put my money on it, considering how tricky this area fixtures can be for United.
Okay. I just took a look at the Galatasaray squad, and we totally missed Wilfred Zaha and Hakim Ziyech.
Oh, I mean, okay. I mean, I left when Zaha and Zayek joined, but that's a really, really, really good call, bro.
Yeah,
Wow.
they have some really good
I
wingers
mean,
and a nice striker.
yeah, they have some. I mean, that's a really good attack, man. Like Zayek, and you have Zayek, and you have Mertens. You have Icardi.
Yeah,
Wow, 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 and Wilfred Zaha as well. I think that's a really good attack. Honestly,
yeah.
that's
And
a
in
really, really good
midfield,
attack.
like you said, it's for Sergio Oliveira and Lucas Torreira.
I think it's a really good front five. Actually, honestly, it's a really good front five, front six. So, as I said, honestly, and the Galatasaray fans are really, really hostile. When you go there, you feel the tension. The tension can literally cut something, man. That's how hot and sharp the tension is, man. You can use it as a knife to cut shit. Honestly,
Mm.
like the GS fans are really, really, intense. So I feel like, and the thing is also we see how fragile United are. Honestly, like we can just remember very recently the 7-1 or 7-0 demolition they got from Anfield. They played the first half and everyone was equal, and then they concede 2 goals in the space of 2 minutes and they all crumble. So this is that mental fragility also still remains there as well. So as I said, honestly, like I wouldn't be too surprised, if these guys actually don't make it true or suffer to make it true.
Yeah, the only time that that I've seen United this time around is when they played us in the friendly, and they just looked toothless in attack, man. Their defense, it was kind of okay. They were very harsh, they were very physical, but then in attack, they looked totally toothless. Like even against a makeshift defense like us.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like they really need rather Rasmus Højlund to come good. The Walmart talent. Hopefully, they can get some good deal out of that. I don't know. Or rather, I think the better one would be the IKEA Haaland because he comes from Scandinavia, so we have
IKEA
the
Haaland.
real one, and then we have the IKEA version because like IKEA always gives you this cheap and durable furnitures, and actually more importantly like functional furnitures as well. So they really hope that Hoyland is an IKEA Haaland, otherwise they're
Mm.
really screwed, man. Honestly.
No, the thing is, in India, IKEA is seen more of as like a premium brand. All of their furniture is like way overpriced to the market, and
Oh,
people
really?
consider it quality. Yeah, you can if you go to some upscale restaurants, you can see IKEA furniture.
Mhm. I see.
But
Actually,
yeah,
like for us, like I don't know because like in Turkey, like furniture actually has a really big market. So like buying things from IKEA is usually left for students and single people because why I say like they're functional. You can just easily screw everything together and you have a desk, unscrew it and it becomes a chair. Like it's functional. Like there's modularity, they're like multi-purpose. Stuff. But like when it comes to like real furniture, it's like nah, no one buys IKEA shit,
all right, good to know. So yeah, I guess we basically covered that group. So buy-in for you this time around, the favorites to win the Champions League.
I think City are the favorites. I think Bayern are really, really strong candidates to be second.
Hmm.
And fucking Thomas Tuchel, man, that man. I know a lot of people don't rate him, but I really do respect him. Honestly, I think he's one of the best and most astute tacticians out there. Honestly, so I
So
think if he's
right now, I think they're looking for a defensive midfielder. Is that right?
yeah, they're looking for a six, man. They're looking for a six.
Hmm.
There's I heard rumors about Scott McTominay. I don't know how true that is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Do you actually rate McTominay, like apart from like just throwing bodies around?
Man, McTominay is just there to fill in the numbers, man. There are people who have ceilings, like you can't fault him for his lack of effort, but he has a ceiling, that's the thing. Like, and his ceiling is just not for that, his ceiling is for, I don't know, teams like Aston Villa, maybe even Brighton, teams like that, that are competing or trying to compete for something, but not for teams that, that perennial serial winners.
Yeah. All right. With that, let's head to Group B. Sevilla, Arsenal, PSV, and Lens.
Oh, I mean, one thing I can tell you is that Sevilla is going to find a way to fuck the group up and go to Europa League. This is the thing I can say.
Well, this could be one of their last chances to play the Europa League. I saw a thread on Twitter, so it basically said that from the next year on in the Champions League, it's going to be in the Europa League, it's going to be 32 teams. There's going to be more teams, and the fact that Sevilla might not make it into the Europa League next season because of their issues in the La Liga. So it's going to be one of their
Ah,
last times to actually finish third in the group and go on to win the Europa League
go
once
into the
again.
Europa League. That's true, actually. Like there's gonna be a lot of renovations in the Champions League and all that.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
I
the
mean,
thread
oh,
also like consider that La Liga is like not one of the top two teams, so we might not get like additional spot for the Europa League anymore with the 32 teams.
wow, that's interesting. But I
Yeah.
mean, the point is they have this positions that are reserved for traditional, teams based on your ranking, even if you're outside of the UCL places. Like there's this, I think, two sports. So I'm not exactly sure. Let's not
Mhm.
give the viewers wrong information. I think maybe we might just check up on this and sometime do a podcast and have
Yeah.
detailed breakdown of what it looks like or what it doesn't look like. Interesting,
Definitely.
interesting. Well, anyways, I mean, I think Atita and his boys should, be able to just chew past this group.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Atita and his boys are really, really interesting. Like if anyone has an interest, to actually see some really nice patterns of play, I think Atita's boys are really, really
Mm.
interesting to watch. It's
You
fun.
think
They might
you
not
th
always they might not always win, but like one thing you will not give fault them for is for efforts. They really try to play really good football.
and they're consistent as well. Like they were very close to winning last season, and the group stage is just going to be a rollover for them. But just going on to like the deeper stages, do you think like Havertz can take turn himself on and you know get the goals?
Havertz, that's the thing. Like, for some reason, people label Havertz as a goal getter. Havertz is not a goal getter. Havertz is going to miss you chances. The point is, when you see Arsenal play, I think when Jesus was injured, they tried to play him through the nine, and then now they try to play Nketiah as well. But the point is, like, when you get to see the whole full picture of what Arteta does, Arteta did not buy this guy as a goal getter. But the point is, unfortunately, like once you have a bad rep, like it's gonna follow you everywhere, irrespective of what it is or what is the underlying, thing on it. But people just watch games and see Harvard miss chance after chance, and that's the whole summary of it. But I do feel like, honestly, Harvard can be an important player for Arsenal, honestly. But right now, it just looks like he's a flop, and also, because he keeps costing big bucks. Chelsea paid 70 for him, Arsenal paid 60 for him, so it's a lot of money, for someone who is not going to deliver the goods. But I said, I just feel like he has been misused a lot. But I do believe that, honestly, I genuinely believe that with what I see Arteta trying to do with him, I think like he's going to get the best out of him. But the problem is also is that Arsenal right now are relying on Eddie Nketiah as well for the goals, because Gab Jesus is out, so that's quite interesting to see. So I think more of when they go in deeper stages out, rather than Kai Havertz, I think it's going to be up to the captain Martin Odegaard. It's going to be up to PFA Player of the Year, Bukayo Saka, and Martin, Martinelli, and those guys, to actually step up and make the difference. Why those who feel like this come too soon for them, I think they're going to come up against one of the big boys, and they're going to just allow them to keep playing the ball around and eventually just find themselves out of the competition. It's one of those things that you feel like, how did we lose this matches? I think that's what's going to happen to Arsenal at least in either in the round of 16 or in the last stage. They will play well, but they will find themselves out of the competition, something like that.
Yeah. And I literally know nothing about PSV right now and Lens. Like I would be doing a
Exactly. I just
disservice if I start talking about them.
exactly. So I think it's because. But I mean, one thing I know about PSV is I know like Nistelrooy was the coach and he left because he felt he wasn't supported. And also I know that Lens also lost their captain Seko Fofana. He joined Saudi Arabia. I think he joined Benzema, or was it? No, he joined Cristiano at Al Nassr.
Mm,
Seko Fofana was a really, really good French player as well. So he left and he joined because he was one of the players that actually Paris were targeting, to bulk up their midfield. But yeah, he left and he joined Al Nassr. So yeah,
yeah.
as you said, let's not do a
I
disservice to
mean,
them by
now that I think of it, I feel like okay, I did see a couple of not couple of I think one game that PSG lost against Lens in the
yeah,
League
exactly,
One last time.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And
So
now
yeah,
that was actually the game where Seko Fofana bossed Paris, and they decided, okay, if you can beat him, bring him to join us.
exactly. All right. Let's move on then to Group D, which is Benfica, Inter, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fucking Europa League group, man. Honestly, like, I mean, what the hell is? Come
Come
on,
on, man! Like
Benfica, Inter. I mean,
you
okay,
you went to an
Inter.
Inter game, and how can you say that?
I mean, Inter was in the Champions League final last year, but I mean, come on, it's Benfica, Salzburg, and Sociedad, man. Like, it's a Europa League group, bro. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Inter got lucky with this group. But that's the thing also about Inter Milan is that they will also find a way to fuck it up and qualify on the last day. You know,
Mm,
this is the thing. They will qualify, but they will also find a way to shake their pants and qualify on the last day of the stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. Like I think exactly for these games now, most likely you can easily find a ticket, for example, to go to maybe Inter Salzburg or Inter Sociedad, Inter Benfica, maybe things like this. You might be able to
mm,
source a ticket without having to overpay for it.
yeah.
So yeah, that's one good thing at least. We can see that. Well, I feel like this group is. I wouldn't be surprised to see anyone come out of this or anyone drop out of this, honestly, because I feel like it's Sociedad, Salzburg, Benfica. I would almost say at least I don't have deep knowledge of Salzburg and Benfica, so I would say that they're the same rating, and consider how highly rated we rate Sociedad in La Liga. So I
Yeah.
think Inter is just a step above these guys. So because of that, I think Inter should be the clear favorites. But if there's anything we know, it's that they will always find a way to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, man. And this time around, I just want to see like some of these La Liga teams make it through, We need another fairy tale story similar to what Villarreal had a couple of seasons back.
But the point is this: not if these guys start making it through, then you're making yourself more difficult to play against. Because the point is, imagine you have 4 La Liga teams in the round of 16.
Mm, that's true.
So it means that you're eliminating 3 spots. You're gonna leave yourself with Bayern and City.
I mean, they're going
I
to finish the
mean,
top of the groups. I mean, it's not going to be Pioneer City, but then I see a point. It's still going to be much more harder.
the point is, let the Salzburgs and the young boys and the Benficas go through. So you can make your life easier eventually. So that's the thing.
Yep. All right. Let's move on then. That was a quick review of the group. Let's move on to Group E, where we have Feyenoord, Atletico, Lazio, and Celtic. So Celtic, we know they're always there. We know they play entertaining football, but in the end, like the quality of the rest of Europe is like way too much for them. I
Yeah.
don't see them making it out of the group, but then there's Feyenoord as well. So how good are Feyenoord? Like, do you know how their team is? Have they had any good
Uh,
signings? Maybe I can look it up.
I don't really know much about Feyenoord as well.
Hmm. So Feyenoord
I think
have,
Feyenoord are the defending Dutch champions, no?
yeah, they had a good campaign last season, but then
Yeah.
I literally cannot see like one player that I knew. It's all like homegrown. So they must have a good coach. They must have a good set of tacticians. Like literally, I cannot like name one player who we can recognize in European football.
So that's the thing, man. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. But I think, yeah, Feyenoord had a good coach, Arne Slot. I think because if I'm not mistaken, even before Spurs appointed Ange Postecoglou, like they were really keen on Arne Slot before Arne Slot, used them to get a better contracts at Feyenoord. So I
Hmm.
think, yeah, they have a good coach there. So I'm not, as you said, like I'm not familiar with them as well. So honestly, it's similar to the other group. Like it's going to be a disservice to mention something or not. But one thing we know is that Lazio and Atletico, Atletico are going to be there. Lazio with Sarri and his boys Immobile and those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. With Lazio as well.
Hmm.
Honestly, because I mean, for me, Sarri is a coach I like a lot as well. Like, okay, like he might be, yeah, he has his peculiarities and like thereof, but like he's also a coach, that has an ideology and tries to stick to that irrespective of what happens or what does not happen.
Hmm.
So, and they also have, if you could remember, like, when we played last year against Celtic, there was Kamada. If you could remember, Daichi Kamada actually moved to Lazio as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And then
so like,
they have the grandpa Pedro playing as well.
oh, Pedro is still there. I thought Pedro left. He's still there.
He's still there.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Romagnoli
So
also
yeah,
comes to mind. He's a top quality defender.
yeah. Alessio Romano, he moved there, from Milan, yeah. So like, even with this, although we know SMS left, Sergio Milinkovic-Savic, he left
Hmm.
to Saudi Arabia. Well, I feel like the team is still strong, with Luis Alberto and Felipe Anderson. Like those are really good technicians, just behind Ciro Immobile. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a strong team, honestly. But
Who do you think
Atletico
is
doing
gonna come out
Atletico
on
thing.
top, like tactically, between Simeone and Sarri?
I think Simeone comes out on top. I think Simeone is a madman. I mean, come on.
Yeah, this time they've actually looked good. I think they won all, everything except one game in La Liga, and it's just the fact that Morata has been missing a few goals, but Griezmann is back on form.
Hmm. Actually, the problem about what's he called with Sarri is that he's not flexible.
Mm.
This is the problem about him. Like he's very, very obstinate and stubborn in the sense that he has just one idea, and that's the only idea that it is. You know,
Yep.
Even if he's gonna play Real Madrid, if he's gonna play, uh, Girona or whatever it is, he's gonna play the same thing. I mean, whenever I want to mention a shitty team, Girona keeps coming to my head, and then after I see Girona, I remember that okay, like a fucking player from New York Red Bull scored 4 against us while playing for Girona.
Yeah, Girona are no joke. They won two of their last La Liga games, and even last season they finished really high up.
Yeah, I mean, let's not talk about Giro now. Let's forget about Giro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I think honestly, I feel like Atleti also should have a strong case in this group
Hmm.
because, as you also pointed, like they're looking a bit good as well. They're looking a bit solid. I think also the acquisition of Chalar Soyuncu, Cesar Azpilicueta. I think those are players that a lot of people have written off, but I think they will get remolded into the whole Simeone ideology, and I think it's Atletico is a team to watch honestly because I don't know how it's going to be with Xavi and Barca, but I actually feel like in the league I'd actually pay a lot of attention to Atletico more than I will do to Barcelona because I don't know how because I feel like for me last year I always say like it was a miraculous defense. We have to give credit where it's due, but can Barca replicate that? I think it's more than not likely that they cannot
Mm.
because I feel like they won the league based on that defensive. I think because they went 25 games by conceding 6 goals or 7 goals or something like this, and even like 3 of those was against us in the
Yeah.
3-1, in the game. So like for the first half of the season, they literally were invincible, at least defensively. So I feel like it's almost impossible to replicate that. So that's why I feel like I don't think Barca would be as good as they were last year. But on the other hand, I feel like Atletico Madrid are going to improve, and
Mm.
they're a team to look out for. Honestly, they're a team to look out for.
Definitely. La Liga is going to get interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Without further ado, then let's like go to the group where people are really excited for the group of death, of Javier called it.
Yes, it is indeed the group of that with Paris Saint-Germain, Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, and Newcastle United. Actually, it is the history of European football except for Paris.
It's you banded Newcastle in there as well. Mm.
I mean, Newcastle is history of European football, no?
Yep. Yeah. But
So
they're
that's the
back.
thing. Like, except for
AC Milan are back as well after like last season. All of them are back.
yeah, AC Milan were in the semi-final last season. I guess they lost to Inter, and
Mm.
yeah. So that's the thing, actually. With Borussia Dortmund and the yellow wall as well. So that's interesting. I actually was reading earlier this morning that Dortmund are looking at Volkov, the German striker.
Okay.
They're looking to add him. I think it was a shock to a lot of people, myself included, because like there was no rumors or anything like that. But they're looking at Volkov, so there is that. But I think this is quite a very strong team, a strong group because you look at Paris, with the way they've thrown out the whole, at least they claim to throw out the whole bling bling, but we all know that as long as the mayor and the father and the president and the emir of Paris is still playing for them, the one who wears number 7, who we shall not name him, as long as he's still there, I don't think they're gonna eliminate the whole blink blink ideology. So it's just a hit and miss with Paris, honestly. And I think their midfield also is weak. Also, they got Ugarte, the Uruguayan, but I think uh,
They're
I don't
losing
think it's enough
Verratti.
because exactly because always their midfield had always not been that strong. So I can understand, okay, if they can push through for Kolomwani with Gonzalo Ramos, with Usman Dembele, with, you know, the mayor of Paris. So it's 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 gonna be
The mayor
it's
of
gonna be a really
Paris.
good front line. Yeah, it's a
Speaking of
really
the
good
mayor of
front line, and also
Paris, like Hassan
yeah,
says, Emil Butragueño, he said, "We are happy. The squad is closed. That's it. There's no signings for sure."
I mean, we are not expecting the mayor of Paris. We are expecting any other signing, but not obviously the mayor of Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
so that's the thing.
yeah, yeah, go on.
But actually, one thing you have to give to Paris is that like their defense is really strong. Actually,
Yeah.
Milan Skriniar, Lucas Hernandez, what's he called? Ashraf Hakimi, and also we have what was the name of the guy? Gomez, Gomez, like what was the name? Was it Gomez? I can't remember what was his name. They have this Portuguese fullback.
They have Nunez as well? No, not Nunez. Forget his name. The French fullback.
Is it French or Portuguese?
So just look it up. But yeah, man, do you see any weaklings at all in this group? Who do you think is gonna
I
finish in the
mean,
bottom two?
I think Newcastle aren't going anywhere.
Hmm.
They're gonna give teams a lot of headache, but I don't think they're going anywhere, honestly. And because I think it's their first time back, Eddie Howe's first time, coaching in the UCL. When you look at the the lineups as well, you look at players like Joel Linton, you look at players like Dan Burn, you look at those guys and you feel like they just the seasoning is not there. Like you look at Alex Isak as well, he needs a bit of improvement in himself as well. So that's why, like, honestly, I just feel like they're gonna give a lot of teams, a lot of hard time, because I was also worried of them actually in that, pot four.
Hmm.
Because if there was one team I wanted to avoid in pot four, most likely it's either gonna be Newcastle or Galatasaray, honestly. But
Yeah.
I really do feel for the people who are gonna play Newcastle, but I just feel like it's too much too soon for them. So I
Hmm.
think they're gonna drop out. But the question now becomes: do they drop out to the Europa League, or do they drop out of the competition as a whole? So this is the question that needs to be asked as well. So for now, on paper, I will put Paris. I will
Hmm.
put Paris there as someone to go through, and it's just a flip, a coin toss between Milan and Dortmund, honestly, because if there's anything we know, at least what history has told us is that when whichever team has the mayor of Paris always has a chance, no matter how shitty your team is. With that guy, you always have a chance. This is why we are also so keen on him.
Yep.
With
Yep.
that guy, you always have a chance. You always
Yeah.
have a chance. He's just that good. You
Yeah.
always
And
have a
we
chance.
we missed Kimpembe at centre back, and the left back is Nuno Mendes from Portugal.
Ah, that's great. That's great. Nuno Mendes, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The Portuguese fullback. He's really, really good, actually, that guy.
Yeah.
And I think Kimpembe is there. I think even Marquinhos is still there. Marquinhos hasn't left. So that's the thing. Like, they have real depth and actually good players across,
Hmm.
there. Because, like, I think a combination of Milan Skriniar and, I don't know, Lucas Hernandez or, Prince of Kimpembe is a really, really good combination, in my opinion. So I
And
think the fullbacks also are
let's
quite
not
good.
sleep on Can Kinley. Like it's his first step up to a big team, and right
Yeah,
now
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like he's one of the most informed players for PSG. He's been playing those key passes, making the play
Yeah,
work.
I get that, but what I'm just saying to you is that like you need that midfield that has a real spine, a real
Mm,
core. But right now, like that midfield is just Kangin is a midfielder or is he an attacker, There's he's someone that floats in between that two positions, and then you have Ugarte as well. You look at players like Vitinha or like Zaire Emery, So those are the guys, and
fucking
like,
Marcos
would you
Soler.
exactly, So those are the things that with Carlos Soler as well. So do you think like those are like would you be confident going into a game, a knockout game against Real Madrid, against Bayern Munich, against Man City with a midfield like this? For sure, you're gonna get overrun. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
saying to you, like I feel like the midfield is a very weak link for them.
Mm,
But again, as I'm saying, like I'm gonna put them, as first to go through in the group here, because I do feel like there's enough quality there to to see out the likes of Dortmund and Milan. But the question now becomes between Dortmund and Milan, like who finishes
yep.
second or not. You understand? So this is the
Mm,
question I want to see. But right now, I really don't have an answer. Milan are looking good. They are also looking to add, Dewey and Mehdi Taremi. We know that Taremi has been really good for Porto across the years. So
yep.
we are waiting to see how if he's gonna be able to, adapt to Serie A and the Milanese team as well. And Milan are really, really, stacked up front, honestly, because you see they bring out this guy, they bring on that guy, they bring out this guy, and also like Pulisic seems like he's found a really good spot there because at the weekend he was really, really good as well. So yeah, I mean it's quite interesting to see. And for Dortmund, I haven't seen them this year, but if there's anything is that Dortmund will put up a fight as well. Obviously we know they're the new Spurs right now, but yeah, it's not time to choke it. Like the choking comes when they play against people that don't matter.
Yeah, man. Definitely. All eyes are gonna be on this group. But then let's move on.
Yep.
Move on to Group G, which is Man City, Leipzig, some team I can't pronounce. Maybe Farouk, you can take a shot at it, and Young Boys.
What is that? It's Man
It's
City.
Ravenna Zvezda.
Savannah. Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's
I
some
wish
other
Doris
people.
was here. She would have really helped us out here. But
Let's some other people's name. Anyway, it's Real Star Belgrade in English.
okay, that's the team. Yeah, I've seen them around
Red Star.
a few
Yeah.
years back.
Red Star and Young Boys.
Mm,
Yeah, I think Man City, Leipzig, Red Star, Young Boys. I think it should be a straightforward group for Man City and Leipzig. So I think both of them should get through out of this group. I mean, let's not go where we don't know. I don't know anything about Red Star. I know Young Boys are from Switzerland. because these guys are from Belgrade, yeah. So that's just it. So, but I don't know. These are the only things we know. Red Star Belgrade. So
right? I guess no point in talking about it. Definitely, like we can expect Leipzig and City to go through. All right, we've come to the last group,
But
Farooq.
how much of
Oh,
a competition do you think uh, City are? Like, do
City are
you
for the whole
actually,
campaign.
yeah,
I feel
for the
like
whole
the
campaign, like for the?
I think they're gonna get to the semi-final, but then they're gonna probably meet the match against Bayern, or maybe who is the third team that you really back?
I mean, that's the thing. I look at this Champions League group and I actually don't see a team better than ours, honestly. Like, we have our shortcomings, but as I say, like, away from these two teams, I just feel like every other person is fair game.
Yeah,
Honestly, that's just it. Like, I don't know, maybe like I'm overestimating also, like maybe it's just a bit of
I,
arrogance. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think no man. I don't think you're overestimating. I mean, we definitely have the squad to get to the semi-finals, but then it's just that other team. Who else is gonna be in that semi-final? Maybe Paris. You
I
think
mean,
they can get
I
there?
don't know, man. Let's see. Is there any betting odds for the Champions League? So maybe we can actually use that
Hmm.
as as a
It's
some,
gonna be
I don't
skewed,
know,
man.
as
Like
a marker,
these pundits, they're
as a
probably
reference
gonna put
point.
put in Arsenal up there.
No, I mean, come on, they're not that stupid, but they're not that stupid.
Hmm.
They're not that stupid, man. Okay, let me just quickly search for, like,
Sure.
Squawka and see. Let's see
Yeah,
what
apart from
Squawka
that,
is playing.
like the only other big team left is Barcelona, which we are gonna see in Group H. But then, yeah, I don't see them like making it past the quarterfinals unless they get super lucky with their draws again. Like I don't see it.
I also don't see that, bro. I don't see. Actually, exactly. See, like, they had Bayern as the first. Sorry,
Hmm.
City as the first, Bayern as second, Real Madrid as third, and then Arsenal, Barcelona, Paris, United, and Napoli. Interestingly, they had actually Newcastle really high.
Hmm.
So that's the thing. Like, as I said, like, honestly, like, away from City and Bayern, like, I really don't know. Like, I don't see anyone being better than us, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
even for Bayern, it's a bit of, a 50-50, but I just feel like their squad is really good and their players are picking at the right time, so you just need to find a coach that can combine everything together and actually get a really good, tune out of the team. So that's why, as I mentioned, like, I feel like Thomas Tuchel, with his knowledge and, tactical acumen, I think he's going to be a really, really good one, a very dangerous one, honestly. But away from those two guys, I just feel like it's fair game with anyone, man. It's fair game. It's fair game.
Yeah, and it feels like one of those campaigns, where we have no hope, we have no strikers, and maybe this is that campaign where we actually get something done.
Yeah, but actually, the point is that when you actually look at how the game is played these days, a lot of teams actually rely on that midfield, a lot. And
Hmm.
right now, you can't name a better midfield a better midfield combo than the combo we have right now with the six midfielders or our seven midfielders that we have. There is no better midfield combo. Okay, like, maybe people might want to say, like, okay, on starting on paper, with a midfield of, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne, and, Bernardo Silva is the best in the world. I will not argue with that. I totally accept that. I will not deny that. But what I'm just saying is that, as a whole squad, when you start to add, the likes of Calvin Phillips, the like of Mateo Kovacic into the mix, they're also going to get Mateo Nunez as well. So I feel like when you add those guys into the mix and, look at the broader spectrum, I do feel like our midfield is the best that is available on the market, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, because so I feel like because of we possess that, I think that's gonna win a lot of battles. But obviously, scoring goals is gonna come down to be our handicap eventually. But yeah, as I said, like, everything is fair game except for Bayern and City, honestly. So I don't know how that's gonna pan out, but let's see, man. Let's see.
All right.
So I don't know, like, after we're having discussion now, what would you say is, a minimum, or what would you consider as a disappointment for this season in the UCL?
Going out in the quarterfinals, man. Just hope, we get like a favorable draw in those
But I
early
mean, come on, the
stages.
quarterfinals is the top 8 teams.
Top eight teams, I still think we can make it out top, man, unless we get like the likes of
Hmm.
Maybe even Paris might be a difficult job if they can, really gel together as a team. Since they got rid of Neymar and Messi, they can actually defend this time.
No, that would be interesting to see, man. That would be an interesting one to see with Paris.
Yeah.
I think Paris also is an even one, honestly. I think Paris is an even one.
Mm.
Well, let's see, man. Honestly, I would be more worried of facing people that we know, the Atleticos and the Barcelonas, honestly.
Yeah.
Because, these are people that you've been playing over and over and over. So that's know-how kinds of, plays into something. But honestly, like, I really will not be too bothered about that. But yeah, I mean, for me, actually, the last four is fair game. As long as we don't go out in the round of 16, I think last four is fair game for me actually this season. But as I said, like the only two teams ahead, but also, you have to get favorable draws. Imagine if you get Bayern in the round of 16 or Bayern in the
No
quarters. So
chance. No chance they're going to.
so that's the thing. Like, it's just this. Well, I mean, not say no chance because you don't know what's going to happen by then. So, I mean, for that to even happen, the January transfer window has to go through as well. You never can tell. Maybe something happens in the January transfer window as well. I mean, yeah, people will say historically stuff has not happened, but let's not forget we bought Emmanuel Adebayo, Klaasien Huntelaar, those guys in January transfer windows as well. So,
Yeah, we just
and
need
they've
one
done.
striker, man. Like one striker better than Jose. Anyone will
Yeah. Anyways, let's go on to the last group and then we can, round it up.
do. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So Group H, it's Barcelona, Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. Finally, like we don't play Shakhtar in the group stages.
Yeah, exactly right. I know, right. Yeah. Crazy, man. Finally, we don't play Shakhtar in the group stage, man. Like we give that honor to Barcelona. Hopefully, Barca can do some things, but I don't know if they can or they cannot. Because
You
Barca
think
also is.
the curse has still not left them? You think they're gonna go to the Europa again?
I honestly don't know. Honestly, those guys are just, totally weird people.
Hmm.
Honestly, they're
So
totally
Porto
weird people.
lost
You just
Taremi,
don't know.
and did they get a replacement in?
Oh, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
Look it up. Porto. So by Barcelona, you've basically shunned them aside. You say they're not gonna go past the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, first let them even get to the round of 16s first, right?
All right. And Google still lists Taremi as Porto player, so
Yeah, he's
okay.
not yet been actually confirmed, but actually the report says he's in Milan right now doing what's it called, a medical, but he
Hmm.
hasn't been confirmed yet as. I think he even played for them at the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Darren, he played at Porto at the weekend.
All right, they brought in Nico Gonzalez from Barca.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but they didn't get a striker yet. I mean, they do have Pepe, and they have the Pepe back in defense. So, how old is he? Is he 42, 41?
Pepe? I think
Yeah.
he's 41. I guess I'm not sure exactly.
Wow. Still gonna play another Champions League campaign.
Yeah.
All right. So just to like round it off, I mean, Barca and Porto are the favorites for sure, or Shakhtar might sneak in.
Yeah, I think the team from Belgium, Royal Antwerp. I think it's gonna be a bit difficult for them to get anything out of this group. But then Shakhtar continues to exceed expectations. Because of what's happening in their home country and having to play away from home and all that. And all those things. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, will Shakhtar play at home this year, or are they still gonna play in Poland? I'm not exactly sure, but you know.
I'm
Anyways, like
not caught up on the Ukraine war, so
yeah. So, anyways, like I mean, however it goes, like at least on paper, it's looking like Barca, Porto, and then Shakhtar join us for Europa League.
mm,
But as I say, it's Barcelona. Like we didn't believe that they were, lose to Frankfurt, to Benfica, and all those guys, and they all did. So it's interesting.
yeah, man. Oh, okay. I mean, just before we like go to Getafe, my like parting thoughts for our campaign is we're gonna miss Courtois. Like we didn't talk about that. We always talk about the lack of goals in the team, but then Courtois has saved our asses off in all of the stages. And him not being there is going to be a big miss. And especially if Kepa has a nightmare couple of games, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard.
Couple of games. Couple of games. Come on, chill, man. He had a clean sheet the last weekend, so at least go on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard. The Champions League is more high pressure. You know, players tend to make more mistakes.
That's very true, actually. That's very true. But then, I mean, on the bright side, the midfield is packed, so
Yeah.
hopefully that leads to less conceding of chances. Fingers crossed. We are not sure. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we conceded 1 goal in 3 games since the start of the league, so I think that's a positive sign. So
Right. I guess we talked everything about the group stage. We've talked almost an hour 15
I
actually.
mean, haven't they announced who is the Europa Player of the Year, or didn't they?
I don't know. I don't, I,
Because they should announce at the stuff as well. So I
oh,
mean, it's been Haaland has been named UEFA Player of the Year.
nice. Yeah, I mean, there was pretty much no other choice now. Maybe De Bruyne? No.
I mean, Messi was there as well, no?
For UEFA Player of the Year? Wow.
I think Messi was part of the. Or was it Rodri or was it Messi?
De Bruyne definitely was there, right? Or am I seeing
Yeah,
it wrong?
Kevin De Bruyne was there.
Okay. I mean, it just there's no Real Madrid players, man. I'm not really invested, so let's move on.
Yeah. It was Messi,
Ah,
Haaland, and Kevin De Bruyne.
Messi was in
Who
there.
won the coach
So,
of?
but
Yeah,
why?
Messi.
Like
Messi
he
was
he
there,
did he did not have a good campaign.
but he won the World Cup now.
So that factors in for the UEFA Player of the Year.
Of course, definitely.
Oh, okay.
He plays in Europe, no?
Mm, cool.
And also, Aitana Bonmanti has won the UEFA Premier Player of the Year.
Nice.
Actually, I thought they were gonna give it. Yeah, Bonmanti has won that. What about the Coach of the Year?
Men's coach, so
Yeah,
definitely
Haaland.
going to be.
Sorry, Guardiola. Yeah,
Yeah,
Guardiola won Coach of the Year. And
yeah.
for the females coach, can you guess who won the females coach of the year?
No, man.
It's Sarina Weigman. I think she's
Oh.
winning for the second time in 3 years.
Mm,
I told you, man, Sarina Weigman is something, man. Honestly, it's just watch some English games sometimes, and actually you'll get to see the whole gist I'm mentioning.
right.
Well, yeah, Haaland has won it, man. And looks like there is no stopping the man, man. He's just gonna keep banging in goals to the right middle center.
Hopefully, this spurs on the mayor of Paris again, destabilizes him.
I mean, well, those people, nothing destabilizes them unless you take their money. That's the
Yeah,
only thing that matters to them.
yeah, and I'm just happy that Messi, didn't win it.
Okay, then wait till they hand out the Ballon d'Ors, then you should find a hole to dig yourself into and close.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on then. Let's go to the Getafe preview. I guess we talked everything
Yep.
about status.
Let's go to Jose Bordalas.
Borderless bar. It's gonna be fun. I mean, for the neutral, for Barca fans to see us struggling, trying to put in the ball, put in the 100th cross and still not get anything out of it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite interesting, but I think we played Getafe at home how many times, and they haven't even scored against us. Like we won. We haven't lost against them, I think, since 2001. I mean, okay, we lost against them at their house, but at the Bernabeu, we haven't lost against them in a very long time. So there is that as well.
So are you in the Barca camp where they say Getafe just rolls over for Madrid?
I mean, everyone has their own, what's it called? Achilles heel, if that's the team.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, and the thing for me is like this time around, we have two former Real Madrid players, playing up front for them. So
Yeah, up front, exactly.
Latasa
Oh, yeah,
Mayoral.
man. two people up front, man. I mean, it's just written in the stars, man. One of them is gonna score, if not, God forbid, both of them. And the point is, if Getafe actually manages to score 2 goals, they win that match. I don't care who they play against. If they score 2 goals, they win the game. At
Yep.
least they can score one and still lose the game, but they score 2 goals. I don't think they lose in that game, man. So honestly, we have to, we have to. But as I say, like like they haven't scored against us in the last 5 matches at the Bernabeu. So this is the thing.
Mm.
You know, so we will,
I mean,
well, yeah. So
if it's
let's.
anything in like one is like form, yeah, of course they're gonna find it hard to score, but then the X factor is like these two Real Madrid players. You never know what's gonna happen.
That's very true. And also, one good thing actually is that Enes Unal is actually out because Enes Unal is a very very physical player. He's literally a big man. I don't know
Yep.
if you can remember like this the Turkish forward, like he's a really huge striker and he's
Yeah.
scored
I
like
do
10 plus
remember
goals
him.
for the past two
Yeah.
seasons.
The thing is, he never performs against. I've always like hyped up about Enes Unal. He used to, be one of the bright upcoming stars, but then, you know, he can turn it out against these smaller teams, but then these bigger teams, he really struggles. He's just not,
But that's the thing,
he's,
like although
yeah,
although Unal doesn't score against us, even I remember in the last game we played against Getafe, I think we won 1-0 if I'm not mistaken. But even in that game, like like there was a lot of going around and bringing people in out and allowing other people to go into the play because like he's such a huge physical presence that you just have to pay attention to him. And
yep.
eventually, like the attention he takes away from you allows other people space and stuff like that to get into position. So that's why
Hmm. Yep. It's definitely going to be someone to like watch out for maybe in the next fixture, but then this one we have
yeah, I mean, for
Latasa,
now he's
Mayora.
out. But I mean, right now, Latasa, Moira, those are really important people to check on. I think there was a midfielder as well from Getafe. I can't remember his name.
It's
There was
Alenia
a midfielder.
Maximovic.
I think it's Maximovic.
Yeah.
I think he's the deep line the midfielder who is like I don't know. He just keeps he's very annoying, like a pest kind of a player.
Yep. Even Gehene, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but Pene and Maximovic are holding down the midfield for them this season. And always, man, like
Oh,
the right back, Damian Suarez, he never fails to
yeah.
get under your nails.
I mean, it's gonna be quite interesting, because like I think they have Soria in goal. Soria was the guy who saved 2 penalties, consecutively from Benzema in the same game. All right, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
David Soria saved 2 penalties there. So, yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting to see how this plays out. But obviously, we know like they're gonna come away from home, just throw out everything they have, in the works and try to, uh, derail, our march to the title. They're gonna try to get whatever it is they can get out of this game, obviously, but we just have to try and make sure that we don't allow that to happen. So that's the thing, don't buy into all their stuff, and it's gonna be quite interesting to see because I think they have a 5 defensive. I'm not they play with 2 wing backs and 3 center backs. So it's gonna be really
This
really
season,
interesting how
against Girona and Alaves, was it? Okay, it was Alaves. They actually played a 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1 maybe.
wow, that's interesting. Wow. I see. Even Bordelas is. But then that's the thing. If Carlo Ancelotti can shift away from his 4-3-3 to something else, I mean, even Bordelas can also shift away from whatever it is that he was playing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean, I
this
wouldn't be
season
too
also.
surprised to again see the comeback of the 5-3-2, but then yeah, let's see.
Yeah, that's the thing because I actually will be quite worried if they play with that 5 attackers team because sorry with 2 attackers because having two strikers narrow down onto our center backs that's going to be quite interesting because one thing we know is that Rudiger has this habit of stepping away. So the point is if Rudiger makes a mistimed step,
Mm.
just one ball in behind, just a knockdown and you're either through on goal and stuff like that. So let's see, man. 50-50, man. Fingers crossed. Hopefully, we get to see something. But if there's anything we know is that we're not expecting to see, you know, a free flowing game. We're just expecting to see a start-stop game where people
Yep.
are being kicked or not being kicked or being pretend to be kicked. At least people just rolling left, right, middle, center. You know.
Yep.
So this is something we're gonna see.
Yeah, man. And I feel like it's not going to be similar to the Barcelona game because we have the midfielders to combat against the physicality. These players, they can really go to war. So I'm not really worried.
I think it's definitely, like, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of cats going in left, right, middle, center, honestly. But I think you're right in the sense that, we have a lot of, if there's anything we have in our midfield right now, it's physicality and athleticism. So I feel like we're going to, battle them a lot. We're going to, combat against them a lot. So I really feel fine about that. But the point is about, the issue with them is also this tactical fouls, this, set pieces and all these things. So this is how they try to, take the flow out of the game. Like they literally don't allow you play once you start getting into flow. They just, and that's the thing about these guys is that they're so good about their foul that they will foul without getting a card. Like
Yep.
they will just foul you once you're trying to build up the attack. So like while you're doing that, okay, it's not a dangerous position, so the ref doesn't have to give a yellow. You understand? But like by doing that, they continuously break your rhythm. They continuously
Mm.
break your rhythm, and you can't eventually, build up anything. So that's the thing, like honestly, like Butler and his boys are really, really interesting to play against. Honestly, if that's the word that we want to use, interesting there. So yeah, I said, like anyone who is out for looking for an interesting free flowing game, I think they should just watch the highlights. There's no need to waste your 90 minutes.
Oh boy. All right. So Alfredo Jibum Barantes is in the chat. He says, "Hello again. Nice to see you." And he asks, "Is Real Madrid favorite to win La Liga this time around?"
I think yeah, we should be. I think we should. It's a fair point to make us the favorites for the La Liga, and also I personally make us favorite for the Liga as well. But
Mm.
yeah, I mean, we are not without our faults as well. Notably, the elephant in the room, the lack of a striker, and also we know the injury to Thibaut because Thibaut is a goalkeeper that easily saves you 10 points a season. So how do we handle that as well? Only time will tell. But I do believe, like considering the additions of the likes of Jude Bellingham and to some extent Frank Garcia, Joselu, and Arda, it
Yep.
actually kind of pushes us to being favorites on paper. But let's not sleep on people like Atletico Madrid as well. So yeah, it's gonna be quite interesting. But anyways, in since I think we have a new person, Alfredo. I think I don't know if he's been here on the previous one or not. But anyways, Alfredo, we have a competition going on right now on Instagram. You can find the links in the comments below. So just in the description below, rather. So please just tag us in the comment section of the Instagram post. You can find the links to the best international podcast, best club content creator. Like for both of the links, just go to the comment and tag us at Let's Be Real 1902. When you just type us there, so we're just gonna be our username is gonna pop up, and you can just tag us and help us win the stuff at Let's Be Real 1902. At Let's Be Real 1902. The links are in the descriptions below. Thank you so much. Just tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Like we're really behind, like a couple of hundred, so we really need uh the much as much as we can get. Honestly, yeah. Again, the links below in the description. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks, Alfredo, for like tuning in as well. And he also has another question. So he asks, "Are Jude and Joselu too much for Madrid? Are they good enough?" I mean, of course, man. Like Jude, he's been a revelation. He's exceeded all our expectations with his goals right now. We also had a video recently come out where Sid actually met a lot of these Madrid fans outside the Bernabeu. So they all resonated with us. Like all of the fans are really hyped up on this. And the only question is that can he keep up the scoring form? And how long can he keep it up for?
Yep. Yep. That's just true. That's true. We I don't know if that's what to the question is like like they aren't necessarily too much for Real Madrid, but the point is also like we lost a talisman like Karim Benzema and Joselu to replace him. It's just shambolic of the club. But the point is on the other hand, like an addition like a player like Jude Bellingham, it just goes to show you that Real Madrid are preparing for the next phase. At least in midfield, with eventual departures of players like Luka Modric and Toni Kroos. So yeah, and as Jacob rightly pointed, like uh, so far so good. It's been so far so good, with Jude Bellingham, with popping up with vital and important goals here and there. But then yeah, eventually, it's the crunch time when push comes to shove, when all the tools are down, that's when eventually, we will come out to see how eventually good Jude and eventually also, Jose Luar.
Yeah. And Sudhir asks what happened to Jacob. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the office and there's been a lot of power cuts because it's raining heavily. And sometimes this light just goes out. Thankfully, the Wi-Fi has an inverter, so the stream isn't interrupted. But yeah, you can expect my video to go off, every now and then.
No, and yeah, it's raining, and yeah, so rain and power cables don't work hand in hand.
Exactly. All right. I mean, we previewed Getave's lineup. We can expect a really tough game. You want to head into our lineups?
Yeah, I mean, we know that Vini is out, Thibaut is out, Arda Güler is out, Militao is out. I think Mendy also is out, and also Dani Ceballos is
Ceballos.
out. So
Hmm.
I think that's all about the outs that we have right now. So it leaves us in goal. We go with Kepa, I think, right? Like I think Kepa is the first choice, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
I think unless the cup games, we're not gonna see Lonin anymore. So like it's Kepa in goal, and also because of the defensive injuries, I think for the CBs as well, it's gonna be Militao and Rudiger and Alaba. I don't. Do you think we see a natural start on the
Nah,
Bernabeu?
man. Uh, I actually don't think so. Not for a long time. Feel like Carlo is going to play them at least until like the start of the group stages, just so they find their form, and then we make it out of the group. And then once we have enough points, and then we actually solidify our position in the group, and then maybe we can see Nacho coming.
I see. Yeah, that actually makes sense because until like playing weekly, it's easy. It's not hectic, but as you said, when the midweek fixtures start to roll in, it's time to start to rest people. So I totally agree with you there. Like we have Alaba and Rudiger, as a CB pairings. And then for fullback position, given the fact that Troll Mendy is still out, I think Frank Garcia just gets the nod automatically.
Yeah.
And then
So, do
Dani
you have news
Carval,
about Mendy? Like, I've heard that he's going to start training after this match.
I think they started
Oh,
like training him and Dani Ceballos, but they haven't rejoined the team yet. So yeah, what you know is what I know as well. After this game, they should rejoin the squad, both
yeah.
Mendy and Dani Ceballos. So most likely after the international break, we should have them, back into the
Mm.
into the rotation as well.
So, what's your opinion on Fran Garcia, holding on to his starting lineup spot? Is Mendy
No,
going to immediately come back in?
he is not holding on to jack shit, man. Mendy is fit. Mendy plays.
Wow. I mean, I feel like if this diamond has to work, especially since we have to get goals, and goals aren't really, I mean, conceding is not really a worry for us right now, at the moment at least. I feel like Mendy is gonna have to earn a spot back. And Fran Garcia, for me, he has been constantly, bombing up and then trying to at least give an option right there in the byline.
That's true. That's very true. I agree with you. But the point now becomes like giving an option in the byline, but a byline for what to who?
To fucking Jude Bellingham,
I
man.
mean, okay.
That's nobody
I
else.
mean, come on, like I mean, that's I mean we saw a couple of times players go across there and just literally turn back or like trying to find something else. And also even when Joselu came on, like how many of Frank Garcia's crosses actually met the target as well. So these are things that you have to consider as well. And the thing is, okay, yeah, obviously, maybe he might grow into it or not. Like it's still early to judge Frank Garcia or lack thereof. But the point is, Mendy gives you that defensive solidity that none of the fullbacks I think in the world gives you. At
Yeah.
least, but the point is, availability is a problem. You understand? So this
Mm.
is the thing. But I just feel like if Mendy is fit, Mendy plays. At least for the important games. So I just think there is no sport to be end or lost. I just think that's just the rule of law. I mean, until and unless Mendy's form starts to hit, a very rough patch, I just feel like it's Mendy's position to lose. Well, obviously, I don't, I'm not too sure, but I think, it might be Mendy's position to lose. And also, I would be more comfortable when I go into, the bigger games with Mendy as my fullback.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, before we head into midfield, Danielson is in the comments. He says, "Vamos, guys. Where were you, Danielson? Like we had the whole preview or the review of the Champions League group stages. Maybe if you have time, go check it out after, you know, we've uploaded it on Spotify as well. All right. You wanna? I mean, the midfield, it's pretty much set right now, right? The starters are the young
We haven't
boys.
talked about the right back Carvajal, Lucas
I
Vasquez.
I, th I thought that's a shoe in. Like right now, Carvajal, he can do no wrong. He's at the top of his game. He's not going to get benched.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, okay, although like we touched upon that earlier, because right now there are no midweek games, so like playing week to week, gives you a lot of resting time. Because the issue with Carval is not about that; it's about the fact that when he's always looking tired, he's always looking out of shape and stuff like that. Because he's played so much games and the age is catching up to him. So the idea is like if you can keep him fresh and fit, you know he will be able to perform at the highest level that we're seeing right now. So maybe I don't know if you think it's time to maybe give him some rest, or if you think like playing week in week out is fine. Just when the midweek comes, then he starts to rest.
I feel like it's similar to like the Nacho question. I feel like once the group stages, first couple of group stages matches are over, maybe we can see a bit of Lucas Vazquez coming in. And I don't even see Carvajal getting substituted like until then.
Fair, 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 fair.
Th-
Actually, it makes
I, wa-
it makes point. It makes sense.
I thought about this actually. Like, do you feel like with this midfield four, Carvajal actually has to run a lot less, so he's much more fresher for these games?
Yeah, exactly. Like he gets a lot of cover. Honestly, this is the truth. He gets a lot of cover. Like he doesn't get exposed as much as he's used to, in the
Hmm.
past. So I think that's a valid point here.
Yeah, hopefully he can keep this form up and be fresh until we have to
When
actually give him a rest. All
Yeah,
right.
man. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I guess with the midfield, the only question is either of Cruz and Modric going to start? And if yes, for whom?
I think he's gonna continue with his midfield four. Of I think rather, this is interesting. I actually think this time around we play a midfield five.
A five? Wow.
Yeah, because Vinicius is out. No,
So what? I mean, I thought like all of the Madrid pages were reporting that it's going to be Joselu up top with Rodrigo.
I know. Yeah, this is what they're saying, but I actually just have a feeling that it might be it. I don't know.
So if we do play a 4-3-3, and then it's going to be Valverde playing at right wing spot, and then in that midfield, do you think just Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and who else is going to play there? Bellingham, is he going to play as a box to box, or what's going to happen?
Wow, I love the way you say just Chouameni, Kamavinga. I feel like there's some randos that you find on the street playing five aside.
Man, I've taken them for granted right now. I know I'm super blessed, but
Yeah,
yeah, it
you're
is.
taking a lot of things for granted, my friend. A lot of things. you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, but yeah, chill, man. Like, I think yeah, it's a fair point there. Like, is it gonna be the Bellingham playing a box to box? But the point is, Bellingham can play as a eight because he has played this as well. For Borussia as well. So it's nothing new for him per se. So I think that's not something that's too worrisome. I think it's. But I think he's gonna. The coaches, I think, is still gonna try to play that
Diamond.
diamond to still fit Jude Bellingham, at the tip of the midfield. So I think even if he plays Joselu or like thereof, he's still gonna play that diamond, honestly. But I will be more interested to see a more flat 4-3-3, with Freddie playing
Mm.
on the wing or as a midfielder, false winger, false midfielder kind of role. So I think that will be quite interesting. But I think even what will be more interesting is to see Rodrigo as a lone nine, 4-5-1 formation, with five midfielders and Luka Modric being thrown in there as well.
Mm. So he's going to start off from the left hand side. Like I know whenever I've seen Rodrigo, he's always been good playing out from the left, even more so than the right.
Yeah, true. That's very true. Actually, that's very true. Like he likes to occupy those spaces that like that Vinicius occupies as well. But obviously, because of the presence and the stature of a player like Vinicius, obviously, like Rodrigo has to play second fiddle. And right now, Vinicius is out, so it's just the whole position and spaces he's to occupy. So it's quite interesting to see how that will go eventually. But yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. Let's see how that goes.
Right. So are we really not? Do you think Brahim Diaz is going to like feature? Uh, Maybe not in the starting lineup, but do you think he's going to come on early?
Yeah, I think Diaz is gonna play this game because he wasn't there in the last game. So I think Carl we want to give him something to just
Mm.
uh I mean, something to just hold on to, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's looking like it's gonna be the story of Brian's season now. Honestly, okay, obviously now we just play one game a week. Maybe when the cup competition starts eventually, and you play every 3 days, every 4 days, maybe things might be different. But for now, it's looking like the story of Diaz's return to Real Madrid. It's gonna be quite difficult for him to find game time, and it's just even if he finds it, it's gonna be so little that it's difficult to have a lot of impact. But then, I mean, we've seen with Dani Ceballos, as always said this anyway, in the little time he's had, he was able to, make a lot of good impact. So you never can tell if Prime also can get some things done. He might also just, be included in the rotation all over again.
Mm, definitely. All right. With that done, I guess there's no other variables to the lineup. Um, just hope, these guys can actually keep things going and
Yep.
not mess with stuff too much, not mess with the formation too much, and then Jude Bellingham can still get us the goals.
Yeah, man. I mean, we so far it seems like if he doesn't score, we don't win. So this is the thing.
Yeah,
So I think hopefully that reliance reduces, and the other members of the team start to get in with the goals as well. So at least we don't become a one-trick pony.
yeah. All right then. I guess we can get into the predictions. What do you think?
I'm going with a 3-1 for Real Madrid.
Oh, high scoring game. Wow, I did not expect
Yeah,
that.
man, Latasa or you know, what's his name? Uh, Mayoral
Yeah,
find a goal. So, well,
mm,
I do feel like we're back at the Bernabeu for the first time this season. We're gonna put on a show for our people.
definitely.
Like when I mean a show, like not like a real show, but like I mean we're gonna score. Like it's gonna be a shitty game, like not free flowing. What is and what is not, but we're gonna try to get in the goals.
Yeah, the support of the Bernabeu is going to be huge. I feel like.
Exactly, exactly.
And I actually think it's just going to be, they're not going to be able to score because over the last three games that Getafe had, they scored one goal. And
Exactly.
they're gonna find it very hard to score against us. So I'm gonna go with a 1-0 actually. I don't think we're gonna have a bunch of
Oh,
chances, but then like don't nobody's there to actually put it in, and we have no X factor in the form of Winnie. So until we figure out how to play with Joselu and Rodrigo, I feel like we're gonna struggle for goals.
a very, very fair point. Very fair point indeed. Can't argue against that. But then we have the, curse of people eventually scoring against us from our players. You think they're not gonna do that this time around?
No, man. I'm just not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna talk about it, man. Let's just ignore it for now.
uh,
Because the
okay,
last
man.
time we
Fair.
said like Ariba scored out of nothing, man. The last time we were previewing
Exactly.
the game against
Exactly.
Almeria. So
He literally scored out of nothing.
yeah,
Immediately after the kickoff.
yeah. All right, I guess we're done for this episode. You want to handle the outro for a change, Farooq? Feel like you do a good job of it.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of it.
Come on, man. You gotta drop our partners and then shill our social media. Come on.
Okay, people. Before we go, I remember you were saying, Daniel Emmanuel joined. So, Daniel Emmanuel, please just, I think I mean, you're a regular person, so you already know about, the whole competition going on, on Instagram with the, best content creation awards. So like we have the links below in the descriptions, for the best international podcast and the best club content creator. So like we please request you guys to help us, because we are really lagging behind, like a couple of hundred votes, around 100 200 votes. Like we need everyone to just pitch in and get us there. So the links are there. So what you just have to do is click the Instagram links, go to the comment section of the post, and just tag us at Let's Be On 1902. And that's just all. You would have helped us in a long way. So just tell your friends to tell a friend to tell a friend and another friend. And since you're already here in the descriptions as well, just you can check our social accounts. Our Twitter, our Instagram. We're even on Spotify. Uh, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can also check us out there. While you're driving, while you're walking, while whatever you do. You can always listen to us on the go. And in addition, as well, our partners at Real Madrid Committee. Like the links to their Instagram account also is there. They do a lot of really good work. You can just check them out and see their reels and what is not. And also earlier today, our colleague Seed as well, like he is in Spain, works around the Bernabeu. So he uploaded a video today about asking the fans about the Jude Bellingham phenomenon. So I think we call it the fan cam or something like that. So please show some love to him, because as well, like see, unlike us where we have like a team of people, where we get on and off easily, we're just sitting on our chairs and just speaking nonsense. Sid actually has to put in the work and roam around and trying to find people to speak, so it's not easy. So it goes a long way for him when he sees a lot of likes and good comments and uh, watch views to the video. So just show some love to that as well. And also, it's our first home game, so hopefully, Sid's gonna have a fan cam up and going. Maybe after the game, he's gonna, have some discussions with some fans and get the opinions and the games and what is not. So yeah, just subscribe, turn on the alarm bell so you can get notified once we get this. We get the live content, or rather, we get content directly from the Bernabeu. You be notified and you can just get into that. And I feel like I have rambled on for so long and for so on and so on. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of everything. Now it remains for us to salute and sign out. Right? This is my
Exactly.
Nigerian accent speaking now, in case you don't know.
All right, folks. Let's get out then.
Okay. With that, let me stop speaking nonsense and at least leave you people to be. Thank you everyone in the chat. I think I remember we had Hassan, we had Sunaid, we had Daniel Emmanuel, we had I
Rajat.
think we had Alfredo, we had Rajat, and
Mhm.
who else did we have? And anyways, to everyone also listening on the audio platforms, or anyone listening later, like big up to you guys. Like, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to our things. We're literally, we wouldn't be here without you guys. It's you guys tuning in, encouraging us, actually allows us to keep going. So without further ado, I say Hala Madrid.
Hala Madrid.